Happy Wednesday, everybody. NVDA is pumping after hours, up almost 7%. Snowflakes up 4%. We are in a bull market, and look what I told you yesterday. I told you every time we go into this green and red zone on a weekly chart, we gather energy and then we are ready to go to new all-time high. You can see what happened here in the past in the bull market, which we are right now. Every time it goes higher than green line, come back between green and red, gather energy, pump, again gather energy, pump, gather energy, pump, gather energy, pump, again gather energy, pump, and look what happened. This was a bear market, and now we're again in the bull market. We came back to gather energy. We are getting ready for a pump, and it seems like the bottom is in. This is weekly candle. This could be the only dip we get before we go to new all-time highs. That's quite possible because you see what happens here. Even if I go later, even before 2017 bull market, you can see weekly red candle between green and red, then pump. A lot of times it just touches green candle barely and then pumps right away. And then you can see here is when it touched red line. So red line is touched maybe like 20%, 30% of the time. Mostly it just touches green and then pumps. Again, here it came back to the bottom and then pumps. So you can see what's happening. So earnings are doing good. NVIDIA is pumping. And that will lift NASDAQ and that will lift all other tech stocks. You can see this is post-market. All of them are green. Huge numbers. More than 1%, 1.5%, 2%. 3%, you can see all of them are now green. This is great for tech sector, and that's gonna probably drag tech sector to new all-time high. And I'm looking for this previous high to go beyond that, and the previous high is around 16,764 on NASDAQ, and I'm looking for that to go over NASDAQ to make a new high by end of this year. And that's what I'm thinking, and this is other chart I can show you. NASDAQ is just getting started and it always goes near purple line, top purple line, then it comes back to bottom purple line. You can see how nicely every time it goes to top purple line, try to come back to neutral line. Sometimes it goes lower and then again touches it, but it can never cross it. You can see here, you can see it comes to bottom purple line, close it to there, then it goes to top purple line, and now it's going to bottom purple line, and now it's going towards top purple line. And top purple line on MNQ is 16,891 as of today. And you can see what's happening on NDX 16,764, so very close to the top purple line, and that's what I think we're heading. Looks like we are taking this yellow path. We are not going towards this green path, which is this red EMA line. I think we're just heading straight up from here. And you can see same thing here. This is regression channel, same concept here on the regression channel as well. You can see the mean aversion is the yellow line. If earnings were bad, we would have come back to this yellow line. Yellow line is a mean, okay? So every time we go higher, we come back to yellow line, and we try to come back to yellow line, but this is it. This might be the only thing we get. Now we're getting ready to take out previous highs. We might go to 17,000. That's also a possibility. You can see always when we are very high, we come back to mean aversion. Go to bottom zone, this is the buy zone, then we go from here to here, which is the sell zone, and now we're coming back here. So again, this is the area it can go high, it can cross new all-time high because we are in a bull market, and eventually after that, this is a good area to short later on, but not right now. Still there are ways to go, okay? So these are my indicators which I'm using to predict. And again, so let's go back to daily chart. Let's get rid of this indicator and let's look at long-term analysis with another indicator, which is moving averages. So let's quickly look at daily chart, and you can see what's happening here. You can see NASDAQ futures. Now they dipped below 50. This red line is 50 EMA, yellow line is 50 SMA, and you can see it dipped below. Now it's trying to recover. If once it recovers this red line, it's going to be very, very bullish. Let's go to triple Qs. You can see what's happening. The only thing which is bothering me, if I go to 1 hour chart, hide these lines, go to regular trading hours, you can see today we gapped up. Okay, so this is what's bothering me. I personally don't like to see gaps on 1 hour. So I think at some point we will come back to fill this gap. But for now on daily chart, Looks like we are heading higher. At minimum, we are going to this resistance, this previous resistance. Also, we also have this gap fill here around 382.76. And even on futures, if I go to daily chart, if I go to 1 hour chart, you can see we had Fitch downgrade on this day, which is here around 1st of August, and the futures gap down, which is very rare for futures to gap down. You can see even S&P 500 is even easily visible. This gap is not filled, so eventually these gaps will be filled, and that's going to be tying with the triple Q's gap of 382 and 385. Okay, so again, triple Q's was going on a bullish falling wedge, broke out, back tested yesterday. I was telling you guys this is where you should be buying. This is the back test of this trend line, and today boom, going higher. Okay, and you can see right now I don't see any chance of divergences, so I think there's still a lot of way to go. You can see there is no divergence, still going higher. So I think there's still a long way to go before this rally can resume. Can stop. I think, in my opinion, this is a bull market, and this is a dip. This is all we get, and now we're getting higher to new all-time highs. Okay, and we are also above this trend line. You can see this trend line. We are now above this white trend line. You can see everything is looking bullish. Let's quickly look at SPY, which is the cash index. You can see we are trying to go back to this trend line, or if I go to 1 hour chart, there is a gap still left to be filled. So it is possible we can come down at some point to fill this gap. I don't know when. If I go to daily chart, we have to watch this trend line, looking for this trend line, this gap to fill, and then recovery above this trend line. Let's bring in moving averages and see how these look. And you can see same thing. We are right now facing resistance around white line, which is 20 EMA, and this red line, which is 50 SMA, facing right resistance here. Tomorrow, if we can recover over this and recover this trend line, that's going to be very bullish, and that means we are heading to new all-time highs. Else we're going to go up. Probably it's going to be like that. Back test this. If we fail here, it's going to come back and fill this bottom gap before we go higher. So this can fail here. In October, we come down, fill this gap, and then we go to new all-time high. So no matter how we go, no matter if we're going straight now like with green line, or we're coming back and then going higher, we will be at new all-time high by the end of this year. So it's safe to assume you can buy all stocks you like, especially indexes. They're looking very, very bullish. And let's go to, also I want to show you something. If I go to triple Qs, you can draw some kind of a resistance here. If you really want to be very, very careful, you can draw some kind of a like a trend line here. You can even do this. You can do like a trend line like this, okay? And you can wait for this to backtest this trend line. That's probably the ideal area to get a rejection, okay? So just keep in mind. So I'm going to leave this trend line as well here for now. Let's quickly move on to Dow Jones, and you can see Dow Jones daily chart. Let me bring all the SMA lines back. You can see it's facing resistance, trying to consolidate. This looks like a bear flag, but since NVDA earnings are good and all indices are going higher, I think Dow Jones is going to follow them. And I think we are filling this gap. No matter which way we go, we're getting ready for this gap to fill. IWM also back on this trend line. You can see support, fell below support. Now again back on this trend line, looking to go higher to fill this gap. At least before we're going lower, looks like it could be a lower high, and then I will see some divergences building. So it's possible we can get rejection here, make a new low, and then go higher, or we can go straight higher. So no matter how we go, even IWM is looking good for a new all-time high later on this year. Gold. Gold, very bullish candle. You can see if I go to, this is my favorite trade right now. If I go to, you can see if I go to 1 hour chart, I told you yesterday, perfect, this is like a perfect teaching trade book idea here. Gold was going lower with higher momentum on PP on RSI. We had a breakout, back test. Now we're going higher, okay? So there are no negative divergence. Although there's slight divergence on RSI, you can see 1 hour chart, we made new high on divergence. So gold can consolidate, it can make a bull flag, but on a daily chart, which is a higher time frame, let me bring in moving averages. You can see here, we are now, actually we are above now, or above this white line, which is 20 EMA line, which is very bullish. I think gold is heading higher. Next resistance is around 1931. and then another. I think if we recover back on this trend line and above this 1932, that's going to be very bullish for the gold. Gold miners again gap up. Now there was this gap which was filled. If I go to 1 hour chart, want to show you there was a gap here. You can see this gap was today filled, so I removed that. There's another gap here, so it's getting ready for another pump. But I think this was an island reversal kind of pump. You can see gap up, never came back to fill this gap. You can see last time what happened here, gap up and just kept going on a straight parabolic run. So are we going to get that? If you're going to get that, probably we're going to go and see new all-time highs from here. Okay, so there's still a lot of upside on gold miners. And since we are talking about gold miners, I want to show you Newmont Mine. This is the biggest gold miner, and you can see same thing on support. You can see I was telling everybody to buy. This is the area you want to buy, and today now massive gap up, and now it's getting ready for a massive pump. So gold miners are looking very, very solid, and this is one of my favorite trade. Dollar, exactly where I was telling you, this is a resistance box, red box, finding resistance here, looking for lower prices from dollar right now. Silver, very nice on this trend line, so now it's going higher. So actually I'm going to get rid of this, and it's going to be by the dip now. Silver is looking really, really bullish, so that's going to be very good for gold. So any dips you get, look to buy, and I'm looking for new all-time high for silver later on this year. Natural gas again broke this trend line surprisingly, but I think that the bottom is in here. It's never going to go there. Let's go to 1 hour chart and see if there's any divergences building yet. You can see what's happening. You can see it's going lower. It's same like gold, same concept right now. You can see PPO is going higher here. You can see RSI is going higher here. And you can see gold was going lower with higher momentum on PPO and RSI. Now it's getting ready for a breakout. So natural gas, so natural gas is now ready. Wait for you can draw something like this. If you really want to trade natural gas carefully, you can draw a trend line like that, and you can wait for this trend line to break. If that breaks, that's going to be your buy signal. All right, so that's natural gas, crude oil. Let me bring back these EMA lines. It's by the dip crude oil, selling a little bit sold today, so that's good, but it's right on the support now. This is where I should be finding support. This is a support. It can even come as low as 74 bucks, and then it's going to be getting ready to bounce. Toronto Stock Exchange, massive bounce today, so it's just getting started. I think there are a lot of gaps to be filled upside. Hong Seng Index, again, same concept as gold. 1 hour chart, you can see bullish falling wedge, higher momentum, broke out. And now we're going higher, so this is just about to start. Like I think the bull move is just starting on Hang Seng Index. Bitcoin, right on the support area. You can see support. This was support, resistance became support. Now again we came back to support area. And if I go to 1 hour chart, I want to show you something. You can see what's happening here. We made a new low on 1 hour chart with higher momentum on PPO and RSI, which is very good signs, and looks like we are trying to break out. Finding resistance here around 200 EMA. But one thing to note, if I take Bitcoin CME chart, you can see there's a gap here. Let me hide these so you can see it properly. This gap will be filled. So that's like around from here. I released a short video right now. From here, it's around 3.26% away. So that gap definitely will be filled. So if you want 3% profit, you want to buy Bitcoin now, I think that's guaranteed this gap will be filled. And Ethereum, let me quick go to Ethereum right here. It's going to be same as Bitcoin, right in the support area. This is where you want to buy up 2.73%, but looking bullish because you want to buy on support. You don't want to buy on resistance, okay? I don't know if it's looking bullish, but this is on the support objective area to buy. Bonds bouncing, massive bounce today from this buy zone. So I think it's getting ready for a massive bounce. Copper, let's quickly look, keep going higher after we got this demand here. And then now it's higher. Palladium is also same thing, going higher after this demand zone. You can see bullish falling wedge, broke out, back tested, now going higher. One back test, second back test, now going higher. Wheat also looking good. You can see the same thing, bullish falling wedge. Same concept everywhere. Broke out, back test, broke out, again back tested, and now it's going higher. So same concept in every commodity looks like. Corn is a bit weak, but up still 2.19%. So it looks like it was making a flag here, broke out, again making a flag, similar thing. I really wanted to go above this whole area of 5.09. If it recovers, that's going to be very bullish for corn. Soybeans is in the buy zone. The support area, you can see very nicely, this is the support area. This is where you want to buy soybeans, looking good. Sugar trying its best to hold this support line. You can see the secondary support line, support, looking nice for a bounce here. And let's quickly look at XLK sectors. Looks like, let's see, 1 hour chart. Did we fill the gap? We did not fill the gap, so that's a bit concerning for me. But I think we're getting higher to fill top gap first. XLE by the dip. Looks like it's a 0.25% down, so it's by the dip for now. Healthcare also, it wants to fill the gap, and then it's gonna. I'm not too bullish on healthcare and utilities this year. I think tech stocks will do better, but still it's good for long-term hold. And again, XLU, it's below this trend line, but this is where you want to buy, and it's gonna recover anytime now. So looking good. Industrials also looking ready for a pump, up 1%, and I think there are a couple of gaps up to fill. Real estate again, gap up. You can see what it's gap up today. Looks like it's right on this trend line. You can see support. Now getting ready for a pump. XLF, we can see here. Financials are also here. This is a gap here. I think it's going to get ready and fill this gap. Things are looking bullish all of a sudden after NVDA earnings and KRE. Maybe it will come back, fill this gap or not. I'm not sure, but if it fills this gap around 42.41, that's going to be ideal area to buy KRE. Tesla up 1.57%, right on this trend line again. This morning we had a gap down, and I told my subscribers to buy it because it came in the buy zone. By the way, guys, if you like this video, if you wanna join my channel, it's only like $7 a month, and one trade you can pay for the entire subscription. It's like entire subscription is gonna cost you like maybe like $80. One trade you can make more than that. So, and it's I provide updates pre-market, mid-market, and I also answer any of your questions. I can look at your symbols. So I think it's very cheap and very reasonable. So join in. There's a join button in my description. Okay, so support here, broke down, back tested, and again now going higher. So looks like Tesla is looking higher, ready for going higher. But the only thing which is bothering me is 1 hour chart. This gap is massive gap. It will be filled sometime. I don't know when. So just be mindful of that. If it comes somehow come down, sorry guys, somehow come down to fill this gap, that's going to be very interesting and a good area to buy. Netflix, objective area to bounce right from on this trend line. Again, gap up. That's the only thing which is bothering me, but so far looking higher. Google again gap up on this trend line, getting higher. Microsoft backtesting this trend line. It needs to fail now here. If it does not fail, if it recovers, that's going to be very bullish for Microsoft. Meta up 2.3%. I think it's looking good to, I think this bearish rising wedge with lower momentum on PP and RSI, it broke down, and now it could come and fill this gap before going lower. We'll see Apple up 2%. Unbelievable. I told you guys, buy Apple, and hope you guys listen. Today gapped up. This gap will be filled. I just don't know when, so we cannot predict. So maybe it's going to go first and fill this upper gap before it comes down. Amazon, very nice trend line, so looking very solid. Buying on the trend line. Snowflake up post market. Looks like now it wants to gap up and wants to fill this gap. So maybe in the morning it will come fill this gap around 165, then come down and fill this gap later. We'll see how that goes. NVDA another gap up. There is no resistance now, like sky is the limit. So only thing is it's going on a lower RSI and PPO momentum, but if it keeps going higher, this can be burned through. So just be mindful of that. AMD again back on this trend line. You can see support back on this trend line, getting ready to pump higher with the I think NVIDIA. So things are looking good. Shopify, you can see this is a gap here, still not filled. This gap is around 46.56, although it was up 5%. I think eventually we're going to get rejected and then come back at some point to fill this gap and then go higher. All right, that's what I'm expecting on these. Let's look at VIX. I was telling you VIX was down 6%. I'm looking for this gap to fill. Whenever this gap fills, I will be taking my profits, and I'll be very conservative on. I'll wait for the dip. So I think from here VIX can go and fill $14, and so from here VIX can come down almost 10%. So I'll keep an eye on that. Whenever VIX is here, fill this gap. That could be lower high before going higher, and cycle low is also coming. That's when you should be looking to take profits. Okay, guys, I think I covered most of it. If there's anything you'd like me to cover, just leave a comment. And oh yeah, let's quickly look at zones for tomorrow before I go to further out, and I'll give you some very bonus. I would say bonus. Okay. So you can see US 500 in the second standard deviation, which is the sell zone. Maybe it will, I think it's an ideal area to recover, maybe go down to the neutral line before we go higher. So keep an eye on that. So I think this is a good area to buy some put options same day. But these are the levels. You should take a look. NASDAQ 100 also above second standard deviation because of NVDA. Already above 15,282. So these are the levels. Looking for a little bit of dip before going higher. US 30 Dow Jones near the neutral line. So above 34. 580 look to short. US 2000 also near the sell line around 1875 look to short and buy below 1850. Gold miners also in the sell zone. Gold is in the sell zone. Gold miners also in the sell zone. Let me add regular trading hours, extended hours back, so it's easier to see. And then dollar, the only thing which is bothering me is dollar is coming to the buy zone now. So if dollar bounce, that might put lower pressure on gold. We will see how it goes. And triple Qs, these are the buy zones, already in the sell zone above 372. So look to take your profits if you are there. I think it can come down, fill this gap at some point before going higher. I just don't know when. Silver is in the sell zone. You can see near first standard deviation. Natural gas is in the buy zone near first standard deviation. Very good time to buy natural gas. Oil near first standard deviation. So good time to buy oil as well. Toronto Stock Exchange pumped. You can see I was telling everybody to buy, and today it pumped. And Hang Seng Index, same thing. I was telling everybody from last couple of days, buy. This is the area you want to buy. And today you could have made massive profits if you listen to me. It's now pumping. Bitcoin, you can see it's in the sell zone. So if it can come down below 25,966, then you can look to buy. But this is not the area you want to buy. You want to wait for it to come down. Ethereum, same thing. It's in the sell zone. Wait for it to come back down below 1642 before you go long. And let's see anything else which we need to look into. XLE, no, not a lot. I think most of the stocks are pumping. Nike is in the buy zone. Boeing is in the buy zone. Starbucks in the buy zone. Verizon and in the neutral zone. Let's quickly look at these. UNH is in the buy zone. ABBV is in the buy zone. Healthcare looks like it's in the buy zone. CVS is pumping. Pfizer also in the middle. Okay, guys, that's it for today, and good luck, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.